of several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and throat cancer. Drinking less can lower your risk. You deserve to know the truth about alcohol and cancer. Get the facts. Visit nyc.gov/alcohol.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to have you with us. It's Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. I am J.R. Giddings. Welcome to the Reset Talk Show. This show changes the conversation. This platform will help to reset and reshape the nation and the world. Here's a preview of the top stories we are following. Ma'am Danny-backed candidates swept the New York primaries. Democratic Socialists are popular in New York City. Is there a divide in the Democratic Party? Our panel of experts will give their takeaways. Also, we will talk about New York City being crowned the #1 city in the US in major travel and livability rankings. Is that a wow or what? And in our Feel Good segment, we are celebrating the nation's 250th birthday with the 2026 Macy's 4th of July fireworks. This display promises to be the best ever, lasting 27 minutes. All of this and more coming up. You're listening to and watching the Reset Talk Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Whatever your audiology needs are, we are here to help. Our full-time staff includes doctors of audiology, graduate student clinicians. We screen for, diagnose, and treat hearing loss in a diverse population of all ages. We work closely with primary care physicians, otolaryngologists, and other healthcare providers to ensure that we are treating the whole person, not just their hearing.
When it was time for my baby's vaccinations, I wasn't sure what to do. There was so much conflicting information, I didn't know what was real. But then I found out that since the 90s, childhood vaccines have saved over 1 million lives and prevented more than 500 million illnesses in children.
And like me, many parents worry. We all want to do what's best for our babies. So I went to my baby's doctor and I asked a lot of questions.
And got the answers I needed. I choose to vaccinate. Ask questions, get answers. Vaccinate.
Drinking alcohol increases the risk of several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and throat cancer. Drinking less can lower your risk. You deserve to know the truth about alcohol and cancer. Get the facts. Visit nyc.gov/alcohol.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Eli Cohen, and I'm excited to introduce you to the new location of the Crown Heights Jewish Community Council Social Service Center. This is where you can continue to get help for seniors with Medicare, Social Security, any problems with SCREE applications and renewals. We have our health navigator who can provide you with health insurance for your family. We have Medicaid and SNAP applications, of course, and our well-known free business counseling for small businesses. So we're looking forward to greeting you at our new location. We're at the corner of Kingston Avenue and Lefferts Avenue in Brooklyn. Call me, Rabbi Eli Cohen, 718-771-9000, and we're here to serve you.
Welcome back. This is the Reset Talk Show. We have a great show for you this week. Let's begin with the Democratic Socialist takeover. Joining us this morning is Democratic strategist Deidre Rashid, Dr. Giddings, Donatella, and Rabbi Cohen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm here with all the powerful powerhouse women. I know that the rabbi will be joining us shortly. Here is the rabbi. So here we are. New York City. New York City is trending again. Let's begin with you, Rabbi Cohen. We are experiencing a democratic socialist takeover. If so, is there a divide deepening in the Democratic Party?
Well, good morning and hi everyone on the panel. No, absolutely. There is a lot of concern being expressed. Remember that we had a couple of very powerful and effective representatives of New York. Some of you may disagree with them. Dan Goldman and Congressman Espelard from the Bronx, who were very effective for their communities, who did a lot of work and were very mainstream and were powerful committee heads, having been there many years. Espelard was head of the Hispanic caucus, or the senior member of the Hispanic caucus in the Congress. And the idea that they have been pushed out by people who have a very extreme position. Remember that we're celebrating now 250 years of America, and America stands for a lot of things, including freedom of religion, freedom of property ownership, right? These are basic freedoms that America was founded on. And here you have new candidates who come in who really believe in a different system where the rights of the state go ahead of personal property rights, and with democratic socialist is really another word for communist, which we've seen fail in Cuba, we've seen it fail in Russia, we've seen it fail in China, and especially the way I look at it from our community, because a lot of the people in our community actually grew up in the Soviet Union under communism, where religion was suppressed, personal rights were suppressed, and that's the price you pay for redistribution of wealth, as it's called, which means that the people close to the feeding trough, the government people, become then the elites, and the average people get nothing. So a lot of false promises, but that's where I think we're up to.
Yeah, but do you see a divide in the Democratic Party?
Well, of course there's a divide. I mean, you saw Hakeem Jeffries was booed, and they told him you're next when he went to one of those celebration gatherings. Hakeem is very powerful. He's very mainstream. Again, we may have a lot of disagreements on specific policies, but Hakeem represents a serious player. He's the if the House becomes Democratic in November, he would be the natural one to become, having been the minority leader, to become the speaker. And now there's a serious challenge to push him out for somebody who's on the fringe of American society, and on the fringe of even of the Democratic Party. And a lot of Democrats, including Carville, who's a long-time Democratic strategist, who obviously was the architect of past presidential runs, now are very concerned that the party is going away from the mainstream and is going to lose support just when it seemed poised to take over and gain support.
Thank you, Rabbi Cohen. I want to bring in the Democratic strategists right now. It's such a privilege to have you on board and to help us to break down where we are. We're looking at a democratic socialist takeover in New York City and up to last night in Colorado. Is there a divide in the Democratic Party right now? I mean, we're heading to
Yes, but let's turn that into what J.R. when Rabbi Cohen said that we're heading towards communism. That's rich from a society and a party that is already at fascism, right? So I will say this to you. Are we heading in that direction? But it is the evolution of the Democratic Party. It had to happen because Democrats do refuse to retire. Because you have people like even Mitch McConnell who are having strokes on TV in front of you, falling down and falling over. We don't know if Mitch McConnell is he not is even alive right now. We they are keeping that secret. So at the point that you say there's a change, there's more than just a socialism change. I think that minimizes it to nothing. What it is, JR, is a generational change. What it is that's saying that if those Democrats will not retire, peacefully go into the wind and pass on the torch to the next generation so that we can continue to fight, then that generation is going to feel like they have to fight to take the torch. And at the end of the day, Democrats, yes, there's always Democrats have always been the Big Tent organization. We've always had a problem because Democrats fall in love where Republicans fall in line, right? Republicans fall in line. It doesn't matter if they're talking to the devil. You see Rabbi Cohen week after week bend himself into pretzels to defend a man that is indefensible, right? But Democrats don't do that. Democrats actually say are able to criticize they're able to hold their own accountable. And that's part of the credibility of the Democratic Party is that we are not going to sit there and just say that you're a good Democrat if you're not a good Democrat. We're not in the business of lying about your credibility. As for Hakeem Jeffries, I will tell you what Nancy Pelosi said. They can be a part of the Democratic Party, but the reality is that they get one vote when it comes to speaker. One vote. And though they're coming in, they're not the majority. You still have enough votes for him to be speaker. He's going to have to rein them in, just like Nancy Pelosi did. We didn't see it under Nancy because Nancy was that good at it. But it is the same thing. We are a big tent organization. We have those to the extreme, just like Republicans have MAGA. So it's rich for them to complain when we're in the same situation they're in. MAGA's now dragging the Republican Party so far to the left that you have a rabbi who's willing to defend things that God knows before they would land and die on the Bible. They would land and die on their principles. But now they'll bend themselves into contortion to tell you that a 34 or 32 count felon who has Epstein files and pedophilia, they'll defend him and they'll fall in line. That's what Republicans do. They fall in line. But we're not going to do that. It's going to be fine. This is going to evolve the party. It forces them to stand up and fight. They're not going to be dragged to the left for that. They're still not the majority. But they are going to have to think about their principles and stop being weak. You see what Rabbi did? He mentioned Carville. Carville is so old. You know why he's old? It's not that we're going to throw away our old people, but we need to develop new strategists that are able to speak to today's environment. The way he used to do Democratic Party races can no longer be done that way. And so the reality is they do their Democratic campaigns more like Obama. They do it into the ground. They do community organizers. There is an aspect from, and I advise them to embrace what they feel is good and work on what they feel they don't agree. But it's going to make us stronger. I disagree with the fact that, oh, it's just such a terrible thing. It's not. And the reality is that people like Rabbi and those that may be supportive and saying, oh, I don't know if I can support under this. At this point, it is that or fascism, because that's where the Republican Party is.
Thank you, Deidre. Audience, if you're joining us, we're talking about the Democratic Socialist takeover. It's trending in the news. It's the number one talking point in New York City. And if we look across the country, we see different pockets of Democratic Socialists popping up. Coming over to you for a minute, Donatella. You're here in New York City. And what we're seeing, what we're hearing is Mamdani is more popular than Hakeem Jeffries. What we're hearing is this next generation is not looking at the democratic socialists as communists. They're just looking for healthcare. They're looking for better pay. They're looking for the things that appeal to them, and they're just rebelling. What do you see here? What can you tell us from your view about the Democratic Party? Do you see it folding? Do you see conflict? What can you tell us?
Hi, good morning. I'm so happy to have gone after our political strategist because I really wanted to hear Deidre's standpoint. And I find myself in a very particularly awkward position. I am a Democratic person. That's how I vote. I voted in the recent election on June 23rd. And I find myself in a space where some of what our beloved rabbi mentioned, I agree with from a different perspective. And I also agree with you, Deidre, in the sense that this generation currently is vigorous. I remember myself in my 20s, and a lot of change is needed to improve our quality of life. And a lot of youth will often look at some of our elders as being defunct and we need to change them. And yeah, there are some elders who need to, but I want to break things down a little bit and let's talk about some assembly member losses, right? I think our current mayor, who I support, everybody knows who I supported prior to this election. There are some great changes that are happening. This current mayor has social media on a chokehold, and any type of position is based on popularity, right? And I think our current mayor has been able to galvanize his popularity with the youth from his interactions as a rapper, right? His relatability as being this person who's out in the street, right? Our mayor, past mayor, Eric Adams, had that momentum as well. I will officially say, as a constituent, I think our former mayor was just a little too blickety black for the city, and they weren't ready to see that. Our current Brown mayor, kind of almost anything he touches seems to be turning to gold. And in this instance, I think some of our districts encountered a great disservice. So we speak about District 56. Assemblymember Stephanie Zinnerman was beat out by her DCA counterpart, which I have to tell you, never heard of the person, right? Stephanie Zinnerman has done more for small businesses, elderly, people who have been victims of deed theft. That's the same district where we have another DCA person, Chiose, right? Who's very popular. Chiose also has social media in a chokehold. I literally cried real tears when I heard that Stephanie Zinnerman is unseated. I am in the place I am today based on her director in her office. Our district leaders, I'm a resident of District 43. There are some changes there. And what's weird in District 43 is the people who were replaced, very fond of them, but our district leader, Anthony Beckford, if you know Anthony Beckford as a leader, you know that he, I think, is also the president of the local Black Lives Matter chapter. There are people coming into office who nobody knows who they are. They haven't been in the streets, but they won the popular vote, right? So that is terribly upsetting to me. District leader in 56, Keisha. These are people that I've had intimate connections with. I participate in a local organization, the AACEO. And, you know, do I think there's fighting going on within the Democratic Party, which probably splits our vote, splits our power? Absolutely. It's my understanding and belief that they're now coming after our Democratic chair, Ms. Bashat, Hermelin Bashat. Someone I've had personal interaction. She is not only our current Democratic chair, she is the focal point of our MWBE, MBE, along with Senator Sanders in Albany. So when DCA,
Are they coming after her, or did they vote her?
absolutely, it's all over the news.
Yeah, did they vote her out, or
No,
are they?
So she won her placement as her current seat, right? But as Democratic chair, she's seeing her most challenging opposition since she started in 2020. And so there are current trending stories that, yes, like the rabbi mentioned, we all know that people have been coming after Congressman Hakeem Jeffries for some time. They are now focused on Bishat, and let's not skip over the fact that they came after our Congresswoman Yvette Clarke as well, but she was
Um,
able.
Yeah,
JR, can I go after her? Because I want to respond to some of the things that was just said.
Yes,
Is that
yes,
okay?
and to be
yeah,
clear, this is not
jump
focused
right
on
in.
you, Deidre. I love you.
No, I love the points you
Okay.
brought up. No, I love the points you brought up. And I think that that is a very good point. It brings another situation for it. I will say to you that I'm not saying that the replacements are not going to be hurtful in some areas. What I am saying to you is that we do have to understand that growth is painful and change is painful. But the reality is that every party, in order to survive, is going to go through a generational change. And that part of being elected is knowing how to defend your seat. Part of being elected and keeping our elected officials to where they're doing what you're saying, which is making sure they're advocating for small businesses, making sure they do those things, is keeping them sharp and having that opponent to make them have to stand accountable to the people. And part of the reasons that you get the results you get because they know every 2 years the cure for a cocky politician is an election, right? And so
Well,
so where
Deidre,
I feel where I feel that I'm gonna say where I feel that there are those that were good and effective and that paid a price of popularity. I agree with you, and I'm not even going to disagree with you in that that might not impact voters. But what I am saying to you is that we have to keep it in perspective. And the perspective is that the Democratic Party evolves and changes. And if you don't want socialists, then you're going to have to get out there and get your people out to vote and tell them to support these people. Because if you don't do it, it is the natural consequences of an election. We are now suffering with Trump through a second term because all of us took him for granted, the first and the second term. And so now you have people who are willing to rip children from families. Now you have people that are willing to drag people through sheets, so that are willing to shoot American citizens in the face. So the reality is that we are going through the same thing that the Republican Party went through when MAGA came into their party, right? And Republicans like Liz Cheney and others that I have to leave. Marjorie Taylor Greene said they're leaving the Republican Party. Tucker Carlson said they're leaving the Republican Party.
I
So,
get it.
so I will
But
say to
that's not
you,
the discussion we're having here at a
right?
local
But no,
level.
I agree with your local level,
And
and
people
I
still didn't
feel
vote, Deidre. And
right,
that's
and
just
I
breaking my heart.
right, and that's what we feel for. We feel for that, and I hear you. There was real losses, and I hear it and I feel it from New Yorkers every day. But what I am saying to you is that the loss, we're going to have to deal with the loss and now start grooming these new ones that are in that position. We're going to have to start holding them accountable. We're going to have to start telling them, I know you believe this far leftist, but you got to come to the middle because you now represent others, not yourself. But we have to get more active. You can't complain when we don't vote. We always say, if you don't vote, don't complain. Because the
Amen.
reality is that the people who should have supported those representatives did not come out to vote. And
You
and
know
and
why?
so
Because they were distracted with FIFA, the New York Knicks. And that's the truth.
well, you
And
are the number one city. You are the number one city. So, I mean, it is just ramifications of
they
New
are
York. Like
your on
JR
mute.
said, right. Like JR said, we are the number one city. So that's just like where we are. But they got to focus. You can't sit there
JR
and
is trying to
complain.
interject, but he doesn't have his
Yeah.
mic on. I
Oh,
see you.
okay.
No,
Okay.
no, no. My mic is on. My mic is on. Listen, I want to bring in Dr. Giddings for a minute because just like Deidre, she's out in Houston, but we want to get perspectives. Simply because you know the saying, when New York City sneezes, the whole country gets a cold. And
Oh, that's good.
what has been happening is Mamdani's popularity, okay, is now having an effect across the country. And now you're hearing talks about Democratic Socialist ticket in 2028, and there is fear that this takeover could run rampant. Dr. Giddings, from your perspective, with the Democratic Socialists across the country, what can you tell us about this takeover? Do you see the Democratic Party imploding in trouble, or do you see that, just give us your take?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone, panelists, listeners. Yeah, I pretty much fall on the side of Deidre. I particularly don't like the labels, okay? We're a big tent, as she says. We're all under there, matter of fact, socialists, all the programs that Democrats fight for, Medicare, SNAP, childcare, these are all typically socialists, right? But they all fight for that. So let's just stop this infighting, because that's what the Republicans want. They like to foment chaos. And if we take our eye off the ball, we're just going to be doing that and fighting amongst ourselves and don't focus on what we need to focus on. We need to basically have a coordinated campaign, bring everybody under the tent, and we're fighting for the same things. That's why Mamdani won, okay? It's like he's listening to the people, figuring out what they want, and talking to them and doing this groundswell. And that's what we have to do. We have to be laser focused. We have to figure out what's relevant to our people. As I said before, childcare, housing, all of these programs are typically socialist, but they're democratic also. So why are we even talking about this stuff? I'm like, what is this about, right? It's all about affordability, because the Trump administration wants us to lose focus. And his focus is basically rigging the elections, trying to access voter rolls, putting Bill Pulte, who's the head of DNI, in charge of rigging and all this stuff. And so we have to be vigilant. We have to organize. We have to galvanize. We have all the lawyers litigating, and the Republicans will take care of themselves. In fact, Trump has given them lots of campaign ads. I love inflation. I don't care about American finances. Everything in the economy, and including housing, is a big yawn. So let's just have them do that. Don't have us be distracted by all of that. Have us focus on the people. And that's where, the Democratic Socialists are winning. So we just have to learn the lesson and just keep focusing on what's important. It's important to get the policies in and talk about those items. So that's how I feel about it. I don't like labels, and to evolve, we must change. And change is hurtful, but we have to go through the process. But we just have to buckle down and focus on what's important.
Well said, Dr. Giddings. But as we sit in all of our seats and we listen to the pundits and the experts and the journalists, it keeps coming back to socialism being so popular. And like Deidre said, this is a generational thing right now. And like Don Teller said, Mamdani has the social media in a chokehold, and he's sharing that across the country. They're trending at a very high rate, and the college-educated people are there, and they're focusing, and here we are. So, Rabbi, could you jump in for a minute?
Sure, and so I think that some good points have been made over here, but I would just ask Didi to refocus and think about this. It's all very well to say, to put this on Trump, but remember that in New York State, we do not have a Republican Party or certainly not in New York City, even though New York State upstate, but it's not enough to sway the state. So, in fact, what's happened with these new Social Democrats, the DSA party, taking over in the New York State Assembly. Remember, the New York State Assembly is where laws are made for addressing things like housing, crime, so many things that affect us on a daily basis, and it's very wishful thinking to say that you'll open a big tent and bring everybody in, but still keep it under control. Absolutely not. The New York State Assembly right now is clearly anti-police, anti-enforcement. They are. There's even new people that went in that want to close down all the prisons. They are, and we New Yorkers know what the streets can look like when there is chaos, and it's very, very important, just on a local level, to understand that there's a tipping point that's been reached, where even the governor, who is a much more mainstream Democrat coming from upstate Buffalo area, she prior to being governor, she was a very mainstream she was in a very mainstream position. Now she has not been able to stand up to the pressure from all the extreme left of the Democratic Party in New York State, and there's a lot of things that really are in danger of exploding. So this is real life and death issues. This is not a question of this is the next time somebody gets pushed in the subway. This is the next time that somebody gets randomly attacked on the street. This is the next time that a career criminal arrests again. It's the next time that a kid that was coddled when he was 16 and 17 picks up a gun and shoots somebody when he's 18. These are day to day. These are the things that are happening. They're really happening. That are real results of decisions being made in Albany. And the state legislature has gone way, way too far to the left. And it's the trend. Remember, it's not just the three congresswomen, as Donatella said. It's also the three new state legislators pushing out Stephanie Zinnerman, who was very mainstream, pushing out some of the others. I'm forgetting the names now, but there were a couple that are really, there were some real losses for sanity, real losses for a mainstream understanding. And I'm talking about on the Democratic side now. And remember, New York State is a Democratic state. Things happen on the only real election in New York is the primary. So that's
can I jump in just real quick, Rabbi, to your
yes, go ahead.
Prison, people who want to change prisons. One thing I will say, and let's be clear, I am excited to see Mondani's action on Rikers Island. Rikers Island should have been closed eons ago. I've had the unfortunate pleasure of escorting mothers into Rikers Island to visit their daughters or their sons. And can I tell you, I cannot fathom what it must be like to be an inmate as a person who literally, as a woman, you are practically strip searched. If you have an underwire bra, oh my goodness, it's like you have contraband. I am very pleased to see, for the first time ever, I believe, that they closed Riker, certain parts of it yesterday, I think it was, and they're on their way to permanently closing that place. The amount of inmates who have lacked humanity and lost their life while in prison. And let's not talk about, I am pro police. I have a lot of friends who are detectives. I know a lot of sergeants, have a cousin who's an FBI agent. But some of those COs at Rikers Island and many other establishments, prisons, are way out of control, right?
Don, tell it to your point, because this is a hot topic. Once again, what you're underscoring is the popularity of Mandem and how it is spreading. That's what you're underscoring here. So my next question, because this segment is important, and I'm coming over to you, Deidre and Rabbi. Republicans are very happy with this infighting between the Democratic Socialists and the moderate Democrats, right? It's good or bad for the Democratic Party as we head into the midterms?
Well, I will say this to you. I think people have a convenient memory, right? I don't care if you're a Democratic state, you have a Republican president who is causing hell, and it does influence the way they vote. And part of the reason Mondami did win and his candidates won was Trump, because it is the response to Trump, just like Trump is the response to Obama. right? It is the backlash of a decision that people run to the extremes when they feel attacked. When you're shooting American citizens in the face and you want to talk about law enforcement, people are not doing that. Stop it. Republicans always go to the same corner. Fear, 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 fear. They're gonna force your children into abortions. The law enforcement's are gonna run rapid. It's the same thing that you hate transgender. Like what they're doing is their party is collapsing under the Charlie thing, the shooting, under the dispute between Israel and whether to support Israel or not. That's in the Republican Party as well as the Democratic Party. They just want to stir up all this and say, "Ooh, look at the Democrats. They have all this. You have MAGA dragging you by the tail." You had a bipartisan bill where Republicans were on board for housing for this nation, and they backed out of it because the MAGA was dragging them to the right. So don't let Republicans act like Democrats are just, oh my God. No, you don't get to say, oh my God, when you're sitting in a fascist country, a fascist party. You don't get to say that. What you get to say is Democrats are going to have to learn how to get along with each other. That Hakeem is going to have to fight for his seat. And oh my God, he has to fight for it. He should fight for it. It makes him a sharp politician to be able to be held accountable even to the extremes. So yes, did they win? We hate that those lost, but you all better get in there and start grooming them and start telling them what you're not going to put up with and what you are going to put up with. So if they're going too far to the left, drag them back to the right. That is what you call democracy. But what we don't do is allow Republicans to make us feel like we're dysfunctional because we don't have the one uniform Democrat going through. You're never going to fall in love with any candidate. There's no such thing as a perfect candidate. What we try to do is make sure that they have our morals, they share our values, that they will walk that line. Are there going to be some extreme when you go through a generational change in a party? Absolutely. But that's what keeps Democrats strong. AOC kept Nancy on her feet. Ayanna Pressley was necessary. Bernie Sanders was necessary. Elizabeth Warren is necessary. And are we going to agree with every single one of their points? Hell no. I usually was an Amazon person. Who's breaking up Amazon, right? But at the end of the day, she makes us sharp because she pulled us into areas that we weren't considering, that we didn't think. So we may not go as far left as they go, but they're necessary to have every viewpoint represented inside this. And if the moderates want their moderate candidate to stand, it's necessary that they be challenged to know that you better vote. You better get out, you better vote, you better defend, you better stand by the representatives you believe have stood by you. It is a natural consequence of elections. We have felt it in every area, but we need to wake up. I'm a moderate. I consider myself a moderate Democrat. However, when it comes to the Democratic Party, we've become lax on our morals, lax on elections, lax on the community organizing. And now these kids are coming in and waking us up, and we're wondering, where did they come from? They came from the same place we came from when we were 20 years old and thinking that we could conquer the world and everything looks that way. They're going to get into those positions and realize the things that they want to do, they can't do. So regardless of the seats that they move, they're not the majority. They're still not the majority. They're just the loudest branch of the party. And like Nancy Pelosi told AOC, you got one vote. I don't care how many Twitter figures you have. You got one vote in this assembly. One vote. So when they go in there, they're still the minority.
I got to tell you, Deidre, you're hitting a lot of major points here. But, as we pay attention, to what's going on, and let's focus on the socialism aspect, that the next generation is really not paying attention to from the communist perspective. What we are seeing and what we're hearing is that they're fed up with the Republicans and MAGA, and they're fed up with the old Democrats. Okay, so
they don't fight. They don't fight, JR. That's what they're fed up with. Is that they still feel like marching in the streets is going to be the cure. and the new Democrats are in the courtroom filing the lawsuits, challenging them, challenging the law, fighting on a different level. They still want to talk about a rule book when the Republicans have thrown the rule book out the window. They still want to fight in that old thing, and people are tired of that. People want a fighter that is going to kick the table over and say, if this is the fight you want, this is the fight we're going to give you. The reason that they're fed up with Hakeem and the leaders is because they've negotiated on points that honestly Democrats don't want to go negotiate on. We don't want to play nice on some of these points, and they've played nice, and so they're building for fighters. And when Hakeem survives, Hakeem will be a better fighter because he will know that the only reason that he survived was that he made certain assurances to the Democratic Party that you will fight for the Civil Rights Act to be put back in place, that will go back into place, that you will fight for voting rights to be put back in place, that will go back in place, that you will fight for the president's powers to be reined in when it comes to finances, and what he does to the veterans, and what he does to the soldiers, and what he does to these children, and what he's done to the Department of Education, and what he's done to the departments it's rich for Republicans to say, well, the people that lean on the government. No, you mean the taxpayers that you pay to make extravagant buildings that will benefit no one while stripping health care from seniors and children. So at the end of the day, Democrats need to get their big girl draws on and stop complaining. You're in a family that doesn't agree with everybody. Figure out how to agree with it so we can get in a fight. We have a common enemy that is shutting down, killing our seniors, killing our children, and making America the laughing stock of the international world. This is time for us to pull up our big girl draws and say, I'm not going to have a perfect politician. Damn it. I wish they would have won. But guess what? At the end of the day, the loss lands on them, because it is their job to get those voters out. It is their job to get into the community. It is their job to stay grounded. And when you don't do it, you pay with your seat. It is just what they do, and they knew it when they got their seat the first time. So at the end of the day, Democrats need to pull up their thing. Anybody who's been in a big family can tell you that we don't always agree. But damn it, when you hit the family, you hit all of us, and we're all fighting that fight. And that's what we are in Democrats. We have always fought inside. There has always been branches like Bernie Sanders. This is not a new concept for the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders had the fight on the floor with Hillary Clinton and with Barack Obama and with all those. We saw this. This is not rare. This is not rare. This is the strengthening of the Democratic Party. I am sorry. You can't sit in that seat and be lazy and think that voters are just going to come to you. We did that as Democrats. It is time for the Democratic Party to wake the heck up.
You're throwing a lot of shots, Deidre, and I get it. Overall, that's true.
I would never throw a shot at you, Donatello. I have so much respect for you, but you know.
That's not what I
Okay, good. Okay, all right.
JR, before we go to the segment, I just want to stand up for America for 1 second and just say that one of the nice things about the World Cup that we have now is that so many thousands and thousands of Europeans and people from other countries came to the United States. And so what a wonderful place America is. It's friendly, it's welcoming, it's diverse, it's so beautiful. So nobody's laughing. Nobody is laughing in the United States. I just want to stand up. It's the 250th birthday of the United States, and nobody is laughing in the United States today.
Let me say this to you. It's not about the FIFA.
No,
right.
They are crying. Do you know what happened to
the UN? The G7 was a joke. Trump was by himself, and those rest of those leaders wouldn't even want to stand with him. They didn't want to do a picture with him. But beyond what you're saying right there, they are the laughing stock. We've lost this war. Israel has dragged us into a war that we can't get out of because Israel didn't want to support Lebanon. They didn't want to stop firing. You didn't want to start killing. So at the end of the day, the U.S., the United States, hold on a second, because I'm a veteran. I don't know about you, but I've put my blood on the field for this country. We did not win the war. You gave them more than we had. Now the strait was open when you started. The strait was closed. Now you negotiated for it to come back right where it was. And you gave them millions and millions of dollars. You bombed them and then paid for their country to be reconstructed. You gave them sanctions that went back into the 90s. It was not a win, Rabbi. It was a surrender. And so at the end of the day, What you need to know is the United States is a melting pot. It is only as strong as its people. So when you have someone like Stephen Miller, who's talking about the Haitians going back, who's talking about the deportations of our people, you want to talk about that? Let's talk about the fact that the Iranian team had to stay in Mexico because they weren't allowed into the States. Let's talk about the fact that that this FIFA was the most expensive FIFA. It was one that a lot of people were locked out of. Let's talk about the fact that the United States is only as strong, just like the Democratic Party, when it recognizes all parts of the party. So I'll be damned if a president who was elected by the majority of the people does not represent all of the people. And beyond him talking about his sexual escapades, his pedophilia, his enriching his own family, the corruption of his family, the fact that his children went into the company with zones, with drones, when they found out that we had to fight with
Okay, I'm
drones,
good.
they bought
Wait,
a
wait, wait,
country.
Deirdre.
So the
Deirdre,
US of
I'm
A,
making you a challenge now. Next time you
well,
come on, I want us to
hold
do a
on,
whole
Rabbi.
program. I
Hold
want to
on,
do a whole
Rabbi.
program without mentioning the President of the United States. Can we do that for 1 week? We'll just not mention him and just talk about other
We
issues.
cannot. We cannot. Rabbi, you cannot be in a country where we're celebrating the 250th anniversary and say, let's ignore the man who's at the top. So I'm sorry, the convenience of your inconvenience is not convenient for me. Because right now, the truth of the matter is, Rabbi, we are in the socialist thing that we are in because he has been fascist in his position. And the response to fascism is socialism. That is how that works, Rabbi. And when you drag a country so far to the right, the snapback is coming. The reality is that Democrats are where they are because there is a generation that has seen Trump as the president and is rejecting that type of life. And at the end of the day, the seniors in the Democratic Party need to take their little whining baby selves and pull up their drawers and do their jobs. They've been too easy. They've been too comfortable. They've been in seats they haven't had to defend. They've been in rooms they haven't had to defend their positions. They've been in areas where they have not had to really answer and respond to the community. And whether they like it or not, the community doesn't always agree with them. And that's good. That's what we call America. So if you want to celebrate America, celebrate the diversity of voices that are coming, from Donatella's voice to the voice that is sitting there in the young that has no experience and is going to run into that state house and figure out that all the Greens and Joels that they thought are not going to happen because they are not the majority. But damn it, they're in the room and they need to be in the room because those are our young people and we need to train them and we need to model them and we need to form them to be the fighters that we want to be. Your representatives that you had didn't start off being that way. They ended up being that way because they felt the pull of the community and the pull of the people, forcing them to change where they would go and forcing their priorities. And that's what we are going to have to do. We are going to have to groom these people that say they're democratic socialists and remind them that moderates survive in their party. And remind them whether we elected them or not, they are responsive to us. And remind them that we do have a voice and we do have a vote. But damn it, they are in our party. And I'd rather be next to Mondami than be next to Trump.
You know, Deidre, one second, Donatella, 1 second. You know, as we talk about the Democrats, I was listening to Van Jones the other night, and he said something that's so important. All right, what the socialists are doing, they're on the ground. They have boots on the ground.
Yes.
They're knocking on doors.
Yes.
They're dealing with grassroots platforms, and I have a problem with some of the Democrats. They're staying mainstream, and mainstream is not getting the job done. Okay, they have to change what they're doing. They have to understand that the game has changed. And like you said, only the big draws, their big boy pants. They need to get it on and recognize that mainstream is not gonna get it done. Rabbi, I know you have to jump, and I know we have to go to a commercial break.
Oh, and I love you, Rabbi.
Thank you, I appreciate it. All I'd say is this. I do have to go because I'm going to be greeting our new police officers that are coming into the precinct in a few minutes. But all I want to say is this. I think that youth is very good, but it's wasted on the young. And the enthusiasm is very good, but unfortunately, the path is shown from the Russian Revolution in 1916 to the fascist revolution of 1933 in Germany, to the Cuban Revolution, to the Iranian Revolution in '79. It starts off as a movement of young people who have great ideas, and then when the dictators take over, they oppress the whole country, and that's what's happening in all of those places.
The
And there's a
dictators
danger
are
of it happening
already
here in
oppressing
America.
us.
So let's
Right,
hope that you're right,
right.
that we can
It's
pull.
rich from the
Wait,
Republicans.
wait. No, I gave you a lot of time to speak. All I'm saying is let's
I'm
hope
sorry, Rabbi.
that
I'm
you are
sorry. Go
right
ahead.
and
Go
that the
ahead.
mainstream will be able to pull in the extremes, but I'm not so confident it'll happen because history does not show that. Anyway, I appreciate everyone. Happy birthday, America 250, and let's keep the conversation going. But I got to go.
Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. Man, I really thought that this was a very informative discussion that we're having here about
Mhm.
socialists and moderate Democrats and what we have to do and where we're going. But this conversation will continue, but we have to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're coming back with Dr. Giddings. She'll be telling us, giving us some helpful tips with this heat wave that's coming our way. That's here already. And of course, we will come back with our Democratic strategist, Deidre and Donatello. We'll take a commercial break and we will be right back.
At Roger Victor Archibald Civil Rights and Personal Injury Attorneys, we are family.
No matter what the case is, we go fight it. If you're looking for justice, you will get it. Roger will treat you like you is VIP. Come join the winning team, cause in this love for we treat you like family. Winning millions for clients since 1991. Family. Working together here as one, yeah. Family. So call us today at 718-237-1111 or visit our website at BrooklynATTY.com. From the shores of the Caribbean to the United States Courthouse, where clients are treated like people and not simply cases. Call us if you have a case involving police brutality, medical malpractice, construction accidents, automobile accidents, and all other personal injuries.
This is Attorney Roger Archibald. Call me today at 718-237-1111. We are family.
Whatever your audiology needs are, we are here to help. Our full-time staff includes doctors of audiology, graduate student clinicians. We screen for, diagnose, and treat hearing loss in a diverse population of all ages. We work closely with primary care physicians, otolaryngologists, and other healthcare providers to ensure that we are treating the whole person, not just their hearing.
Drinking alcohol increases the risk of several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and throat cancer. Drinking less can lower your risk. You deserve to know the truth about alcohol and cancer. Get the facts. Visit nyc.gov/alcohol.
When it was time for my baby's vaccinations, I wasn't sure what to do. There was so much conflicting information. I didn't know what was real. But then I found out that since the 90s, childhood vaccines have saved over 1 million lives and prevented more than 500 million illnesses in children.
And like me, many parents worry. We all want to do what's best for our babies. So I went to my baby's doctor and I asked a lot of questions.
And got the answers I needed. I choose to vaccinate. Ask questions, get answers. Vaccinate.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Reset Talk Show. Audience, tell a friend to tell a friend. This segment is so important. Of course, you know that New York City and parts of the country, we're experiencing extreme heat. So Dr. Giddings is here to more or less help us to make a plan to prevent heat-related illnesses. Welcome in, Dr. Giddings.
Yes,
How are
it's
you?
going to be. I am good. I'm good. Yes, it's going to be a horrible weekend in New York City, and I think over 160 million people are going to be facing the heat across the nation. Uh, Basically, when it's so hot, we really have to be careful. Now, there's a number you can call 311 to find out where the cooling centers are, etc. But we want to make sure that you take care of seniors and people with chronic health problems, etc. Check on your neighbors, check on your friends. The house sometimes gets hotter than the outside, so we have to make sure everyone know where the cooling centers are. Now, when it gets hot like this, you can develop heat illness, which is basically when your body cannot cool itself with the typical sweating mechanism. So pretty much it can't sweat. And the initial symptoms are heat cramps. That's the first stage of heat illnesses, where you get muscle cramps, etc., especially if you're exercising, but it's the mildest form. Then it can lead into heat exhaustion, which is the second stage, where you feel dizzy, thirsty, lots of sweating, maybe some nauseousness and weakness. And then the third and last stage is heat stroke, which is really very it's a medical emergency. So if you think someone is going into heat stroke, you want to call 911. And it can present with confusion, dizziness. You can become unconscious. But basically, what you want to do is stay well hydrated, limit outdoor activity, wear light clothing. If you get into this situation of a heat stroke, you want to stop all activity, go to a cool place, use ice packs, ice baths, drink lots of fluids, and of course, if it's gotten to the stage of heat stroke, you want to call 911. But basically, you want to always stay in a cool place, wear light clothing, and just get as much hydration. Pedialyte is a good source, or some sports drinks. But that's the basic idea. You want to prevent this from happening, and you want to look out for your friends and neighbors. And then if you're working outdoors, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration recommends scheduling frequent rest breaks in like a shaded area, go and get AC breaks, etc. And always drink, drink, drink. But if you get into trouble, call 911. And to find the several cooling centers, call 311, and they will give you safety tips as well. So take care this weekend. A lot of people also, you have to be careful, or going to the beaches, etc. You want to make sure you swim in an area that there's a lifeguard, because there's rip currents and all these things that can cause issues. So just be careful out there, use the safety precautions, and enjoy the 4th of July weekend.
Before we move away, let's bring in Deidre and Donatella. Okay, I'm sure that they have questions about this extreme heat that we're about to encounter. Let's leave with you, Donatella. What question would you like to ask Dr. Giddings as we prepare for this extreme heat over the next 3 or 4 days?
Well, this heat is a bit crazy. As you know, I'm a supporter of the people's hair, and it's not very good for my lace front. It keeps really making it lift. It's driving me crazy. Dr. Giddings, my concern is for our demographic that may not have the funds to go out and buy necessities. What are some suggestions you have for people who need maybe a little more help trying to find a cool place to go? Any suggestions of things that you think they could do to help stay out of the 100-degree weather?
Well, your local library is also a good place. But as I said, if you call 311, they will give you, I think Mayor Mamdani opened up a lot of cooling areas in the city. So that's one way to find out. Just call 311 and you will get where a cooling place is closest to your home environment. But then also, you can definitely check on neighbors if you can bring them to your homes, etc., friends' homes, family, things like that. You might want to do that. But then again, of course, as I said, libraries and things like that, you can go to cool down. But most importantly, there or there are all kinds of places that they opened up. Miriam Mamdani did that. So call 311 and you can find out the closest place near to your home.
Excellent. And for those of you who don't want to call, I'm a frequent user of the live chat with 311. So you can send a text to 311692 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and ask them anything. And that will give you that list. Thank you so much, Dr. Giddens.
Of course.
Of course, Deidre, your question for Dr. Giddings.
Dr. Giddings, I just love you. Such a fan of yours. Such a fan of yours. So respectful of you and Donatello. Just honored to be on with these powerful Black women. But I want to make you laugh before I do anything, JR. Look at that. What? 311? Cooling centers? The Democratic Socialists? What? Damn him giving health care. Damn him giving food stamps. Damn him feeding children. That damn socialist. I just want to say to you,
my thoughts. These are all Democratic policies. I mean, come on.
Right. So I just want to say from Texas, we are so damn jealous of New York right now. So for everyone who wants to tear down Mondami, he's doing some things that we wanted Democrats to do for the longest time, and they've given us every excuse why not to do it. And I am thankful that New York is a light to all of us. All of us who are living in red states are sitting there jealously saying that I take 2 and 3 Mondamis over what we got. And so let me say this to you first, but Dr. Giddings, I think that one of the things that is most pivotal is the homeless population and how they're going to address those homeless, because there's so many deaths that go out in the streets with them. I think that beyond cooling centers, I'm hoping that they have a campaign to hand out cool waters, and be around, and they're doing those type of things. But are you aware of anything that they're doing specifically for the homeless population? Oh, Donatella is. Okay, I'm sorry. But yes, go ahead. I'm there.
So it's, God speaks to us in many ways, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things I will share, and I'm hoping we do something at a future show, but definitely the homeless shelters are available for men, women, and I've learned a lot more intimately about them. So during this heat wave, you can use 311 to find your local shelter. There are shelters that are specifically for women, shelters for transgenders. There are some women's shelters that are transgender and women. I know a lot of men don't like going to the men's shelter, some of them, because they tend to be a little more dangerous, but you can walk into almost any approved shelter system. They direct you to the correct one. If you have multiple bags, they'll even give you transportation to another place. And lots of them, not all of them, do have great air conditioning, especially the newer buildings. In terms of beverages, if you use 311 to find out who your local council member is or congressperson, you can also go into their offices to get access. But there are a lot of things going on with the Homeless Coalition, which has a toll-free number that you can call and find out where all these services are. So great point, Deidre. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's a great point. The unhoused, that's a sad situation, but most of the unhoused, sometimes they don't even want to go to these shelters. So we can just talk to people around them, or if for me, I'm driving by, etc., unhoused person, I typically don't give money. I would give bottled waters, right, things like that, because, you have to help them, or, if you have food, I would give them food, etc. I know my daughter just had a function and she had extra pizzas and she kind of just gave it out to them. But in terms of this heat, yes, if you can help an unhoused person, do so. A lot of them don't have access to call in 311. So it's really a sad situation. So the community needs to, just help them, when they see them.
I will say, also,
waters,
be careful giving to homeless people as well. Some of the capacities are different.
I have to jump in for a minute and and speak to Deidre's point. Deidre, I'm glad that you mentioned all the great things that Ma'am Danny is doing for New York City, and Dr. Giddings, and Donatella. And I hope his team is listening, because the Reset Talk Show got a lot of pushback.
I hope he comes on. I hope he comes on because we had Eric Adams and
Yeah,
we need Mandami. We need him on
yeah,
there because whether New York knows it or not, you are the city that all of us in the nation is looking to as we cry big tears of pain when we have governors who are stripping health care, when Texas is 49 out of 50 states in education. And we're sitting there looking at you guys in a magnitude of riches, and y'all are sitting there crying, and we're like, for what? Get your big girl draws on, and let's fight this battle. Let's fight it. Let's take it on head on. We all have those part in the family, Jr. That we're like, okay, I don't agree with him. There's the crazy cousin. Here he comes. But guess what? The crazy cousin is our family, and we're gonna fight with him and for him every day of the week.
Thanks, Deidre. And again, we supported the last mayor in Eric Adams. And I think the Reset Talk Show got some pushback on that and for that. But we support every mayor. And if the Mandami team is listening, we need the mayor to come to the Reset Talk Show because we are all about growth. We are all about growing. We're all about collaborating. So we want to leave that there, but we're going to stick with New York City because New York City has been crowned the #1 city in the U.S.
Weren't we always?
In major travel, no. No, it hasn't been. For the last couple of years, we've been #4 and #5. Dr. Giddings, is that a wow? Are you surprised by New York City being voted the #1 city in the U.S.?
I am not surprised. I love New York. Okay. I know I live in Texas, but I come back to visit New York as much as possible. I mean, and there's so much to do, and I can't seem to get out of the city because every time I come, there's so much to do right there. It's theater, and by the way, I know a lot of people talk about the theater and they can't afford tickets, etc. They're affordable tickets. You just kind of have to look for them. Plus, there's off Broadway. There's museum, the Museum of Modern Art, the Met, and they have little things that that are free that you can go in. My favorite is Central Park. I mean, I just like to walk around there and enjoy, the nature that it provides. It's culturally diverse, as Deidre said. It's a melting pot. Every culture is there. You're not wanting for anything. You can find little pockets of areas, Chinatown, etc., the Caribbean area. The food is, maybe Donatella can talk about the culinary aspects of it. The food is great. I love Times Square. I mean, that's an event by itself, Times Square, just walking around and being there. I mean, you can view New York with the hop on, hop off buses. That's also a really cool way to get around, right? Yeah. So there's so much. And then with the World Cup being there and the people loving it, I know in Texas, they were talking about the unlimited chips and salsa before the food even comes out. They're talking about the ranch dressing. They're trying to find sizes people can travel back to their countries with that. So it's just amazing. I can't say enough about New York City. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I can live there, and I think eventually I'm going to be living in both areas eventually. But I love New York.
And I'm Brooklyn born. And so I tell them that I've been in Texas because I fell in love with a man that refuses to leave. But I will say this to you: they are mad at me because when the NBA finals happened, I had my Knicks gears on. I have my Knicks shoes. I got Knicks Crocs. They were like, Deidre, what are you doing? I was like, Brooklyn born, New York ever, forever. forever. And let me say this to you. I will tell you this. We are so jealous of New York. It's crazy to hear New Yorkers say that they're being ripped at the seams and all this. And we're like, we wish we were being ripped at the seams. We wish that we had a younger generation kick the door open. Christian Menifee replaced Sheila Jackson Lee and Sylvester because we've had to kick the door in open and drag Congressman Al Green out of that seat. So Trump didn't do it. We did it because it was time for a generational change. He was bringing in Dr. Martin Luther King and Christian was bringing in Jasmine Crockett. It's time for a generational change. The fight is a different fight. We're not fighting the same. And the reality is moderates need to get off their butts and stop being lazy. They're used to elections being handed to them. They're not used to the fight. And guess what? That's what we need today, the fight. So it's not just about what you do in the community. It's about knowing the community. It's about being with the community. It's about growing with the community. And if you're not, you pay the ultimate price. And though I want to do crocodile tears, I will tell you, part of a job of being an elected official is staying grounded with the people. And when you lose the people, it is not the opponent's fault. It is your fault.
Thank you, Deidre.
Consistent with the mic drops, Deidre. I absolutely love you, and sometimes dislike going after you. But to your question, JR, about New York City being number one city in the United States, I think it's more than a point of civic pride. Unlike Deidre, I was not born in Brooklyn. I was born in Alabama. My mother moved us up north for opportunities and advancement. Grew up in Maryland, went to school in Philadelphia, and then came here. But I have been in New York all of my adult life, so I consider myself a New Yorker. And despite the challenges we continue to face, New York still remains to be the nation's leader in innovation, entrepreneurship, culture, diversity, tourism.
Everything.
And
Y'all are just
opportunity.
everything, Donatella. You are
Yeah,
everything. And the reality is to say you're a New Yorker brings a certain level of pride. It doesn't matter where you are. It's the swag. It's the fashion.
absolutely.
It
And
is
to continue with my
the
point, just a moment, teacher. I'm sorry. One of the things that I've learned in the last couple of weeks that's really near to dear to my heart, it are the disadvantages and advantages of being an immigrant in New York City, which is another reason why we are number one. And I've learned most recently when we talk about sanctuary state, which plays into our number one status, and the amount of women and immigrants that I've met who left states like Texas, Georgia, Virginia, North Carolina to come to New York for the opportunities that this administration is trying to take away from us. Healthcare through HRA, housing, domestic violence protections. It is unfathomable to me the amount of people, including non-documented people, that are able to receive help and assistance here. And that pours into why we are number one. And I just have to say, I love being a New Yorker. I would not trade it for anything.
I'm so jealous, Donatello. So jealous of you guys right now. And Shelly and I are over here, and we are fighting the Trumpian fight. Like Abbott, if Trump sneezes, Abbott is going to fly right out of his backside. It is just how deep can he get to the Trump level? And so I am jealous when I hear you guys are doing healthcare. Jealous when I hear you guys are doing the food stamps, the early childhood interventions, the shutting down of the prisons, the address of the police overreach. I'm jealous. We want that. So New York, JR, New York is the number one city. And whether they claimed it years before, it has always been. When New York is where UN comes, when the world brings the G7, they go to New York. When the business and the 9/11 hit, it was hit because it was the mecca of the financial center of the world. New York is just where it is, and it should have been and will always remain in my heart the number one city.
You know what's amazing about New York being number one? I mean, for the last couple of years, we've been 4 and 5, but all the things that you spoke about, that you touched on, Donatella, Dr. Giddings, and Deidre. The one thing that really jumped out at me is quality of life. I mean, they're saying quality of life in New York City is up there, but we know about the dining and the culture, but quality of life, that one really jumped out at me. But as we talk about New York City, we will lean in on New York. This is the New York segment. Um, we're about to celebrate the 250th birthday of America. And we are celebrating with, of course, the 2026 Macy's 4th of July fireworks. Uh, this year it's promising to be unbelievable, lasting 27 minutes.
Wow.
Now, here we go again, New York City. Everyone would be tuning in from across the country and across the world to witness the fireworks. You could be under the Brooklyn Bridge and see the fireworks. You could be on the east side of Manhattan, the East River, and you could even be in Jersey and witness the fireworks. So I'm going to come over to you, Deidre, then Dr. Giddings, then we're going to anchor with Donatella. We're celebrating 250 years. And when you talk about fireworks and the display, what comes to mind for you, Deidre? What comes to mind for you, Dr. Giddings? Because we know where you guys are. Of course, you tune in and you watch.
I think that what comes to mind is just like when we bring in the New Year's and everybody's looking at New York for the ball drop. New York is just a beacon of where we go, and I am so honored to be an American. The rabbi talked about, I'm going to stand up for USA. Well, we are all standing up for USA. This great experiment where we fight for our democracy and see if the people's voice is still the loudest voice in the chambers, or whether we have failed at something and we have to pull it back. And so to this 250th, I will be looking at it as an encouragement to continue to fight, to continue to vote, to continue this great experiment, to continue to fight for what our forefathers gave us and we lazily took because we didn't have to fight for. And now this generation is having to fight to keep what we have. And I am thankful that our kids will, in fact, know the civil rights struggle, that this will, in fact, show them that the making of America is on the backs of immigrants. And we should celebrate the fact that we have been able to get to this degree, that you have on this panel Black attorneys, Black doctors, Black leaders, Black organizers, and what we've been able to accomplish just being the nation that we are and that it's willing to fight for. We have to be willing to fight for it and not just walk away.
Thank you, Deidre. Dr. Giddings, we're celebrating 250 years of this nation. And of course, Macy's 4th of July fireworks. It shines a light on what New York City represents. So could you give us the correlation between 250 years, New York City, fireworks, your thoughts?
Yes, this is every year, New York City, 4th of July, like Deidre said, New Year's, it is just amazing. We're just sitting in front of the TV, just watching the display. By the way, it's the 50th display for the Macy's, 50th annual display for the Macy's parade. But what really strikes me as this is happening and we're going through what we're going through in this country is that finally the birthright citizenship has been upheld. So that is going to be like my biggest celebration here for the United States, because the Supreme Court just nullified Trump's executive order. So that's major for me. So the Constitution is still holding and we can celebrate this victory. But as I said before, we need to be vigilant. We need to go out there, vote, organize, We need to, make a plan, talk to our friends, our family, etc., to maintain this American experiment. Because if we don't, we're going to be worse off than we are. And as Deidre said, we've been brought to the right. We just got to flip back to the left. And so if you go out there and vote your members in, that is very, very important. We have to, focus on what's important to us. It's all good to enjoy what's going on in the city, the World Cup, etc. But we have to focus on what is really important to our daily existence in this world. So let's all celebrate. Let's have fun. Let's go to parades, and then of course be safe. It's going to be really, really hot this weekend, so make sure you hydrate, wear light clothing, and stay in a cool, air-conditioned environment. But I'm looking forward to our 4th of July celebration this weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Giddings. Donatella, we are celebrating 250 years. It's America's birthday on Saturday, July 4th. And here in New York City, of course, we have the Macy's 4th of July fireworks. As we talk about New York City, I just have to say, New York City is so nice, we had to name it twice. So Donatella, I know that, like most New Yorkers, we get excited. We flock to the area where the fireworks display is occurring. Could you give us your thoughts and your impressions about what's so special about 250 years and celebrating here in New York City?
Wow, thank you, JR. And thank you, Dr. Giddings, for sharing your perspective. I share a lot of those elements that you mentioned. And I think this year is especially important and exciting given everything that's happening politically in our nation. When it's time for the 4th of July fireworks in the past, last year, I was able to sign up for our mayor's giveaway of free tickets. I'm waiting to hear if Mayor Mondani is going to allocate any tickets for special places. I like going down to the Brooklyn waterfront. And the diversity of this year, I think, is also important given the recent changes to TPS and the threat of our 350,000 Haitian and Syrian brothers and sisters who may now be forced to go back to their countries. I think this is a remarkable time for unity, to support our neighbors, to see these beautiful lights. And one of the largest complaints, and the only complaint I heard last year of the fireworks, spectacular, but far too short. By the time you really got into them, they were gone. So I cannot anticipate what 27 minutes of fireworks in New York City amongst the most diverse group of people is going to be like. So I want to tell people on the 4th of July, get out, support his neighbors, especially the mom and pops vendors. And let's all remember to have a safe and prosperous night. And as you look around at the people standing around you, understand that that's indicative of New York City and why we are number one. So I'm excited. And JR, I'm going to be asking you with your super media self, where are you going to be? Because I know you're going to have a great vantage point.
Well, what's beautiful about New York City is the amount of rooftops that we have. And of course, I am definitely going to be on a rooftop because you want to be around people. You want to be around a diverse group, and you want to be able to have a great vantage point. So any rooftop that's close to the Brooklyn Bridge, the East River, is where you want to be. You want to have a great vantage point. So I will definitely be. I'm thinking about several rooftops that I've inquired about, and that's where I will be, so I could get that great vantage point, so I could get some of those images, some of the videos that we can come back and we could show right here on the Reset Talk Show. ladies, when we talk about New York City, there is one thing that we can't overlook, and it's the chemistry of New Yorkers. I mean, we go across the country and they say that we're nasty in New York, but when New Yorkers get together and we're celebrating, boy, do we know how to celebrate.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that Deidre is back because,
I had
before
to
we
change phones. I had to
take
change
commercial,
phones there.
before we come back with our next segment, which is a big segment because what's so beautiful about where we are in the world right now is that there's so many things that have happened within the last, I would say, month. And when we talk about people, we talk about things, and we talk about the melting pot, we also have to take a look at the things that are going on in the world that we view from our vantage point. And in the next segment, I want to talk a little bit about the 2026 Wimbledon tennis, because when we talk about tennis, of course, we got to talk about Serena. Okay, and then we have to talk about the new queen of fashion, and we're talking about Naomi Osaka. So we have to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're talking the 2026 Wimbledon. We're talking about Naomi. We're talking about Serena, and that's how we will more or less, end our show today. We're talking about positive things and great things and great accomplishments. So we'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're having our segment not only on Wimbledon, but we got to talk about the FIFA World Cup. We're going to end on a very high note today. We'll take a commercial break, and we will be right back.
Whatever your audiology needs are, we are here to help. Our full-time staff includes doctors of audiology, graduate student clinicians. We screen for, diagnose, and treat hearing loss in a diverse population of all ages. We work closely with primary care physicians, otolaryngologists, and other healthcare providers to ensure that we are treating the whole person, not just their hearing.
When it was time for my baby's vaccinations, I wasn't sure what to do. There was so much conflicting information, I didn't know what was real. But then I found out that since the 90s, childhood vaccines have saved over 1 million lives and prevented more than 500 million illnesses in children.
And like me, many parents worry. We all want to do what's best for our babies. So I went to my baby's doctor and I asked a lot of questions.
And got the answers I needed. I choose to vaccinate. Ask questions, get answers, vaccinate.
Drinking alcohol increases the risk of several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and throat cancer. Drinking less can lower your risk. You deserve to know the truth about alcohol and cancer. Get the facts. Visit nyc.gov/alcohol.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Eli Cohen, and I'm excited to introduce you to the new location of the Crown Heights Jewish Community Council Social Service Center. This is where you can continue to get help for seniors with Medicare, Social Security, any problems with screen applications and renewals. We have our health navigator who can provide you with health insurance for your family. We have Medicaid and SNAP applications, of course, and our well-known free business counseling for small businesses. So we're looking forward to greeting you at our new location. We're at the corner of Kingston Avenue and Lefferts Avenue in Brooklyn. Call me, Rabbi Eli Cohen, 718-771-9000, and we're here to serve you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Reset Talk Show. What a great show today. And of course, we have our powerhouse females on the platform. We have Democratic strategists in Deidre Rashid, we have Donatella, and we have Dr. Giddings. Welcome back in. You powerful women, welcome back in.
I think I'm going to get a T-shirt that says "Powerful Women." You should trademark it. The RTS Powerful Women.
Absolutely. Merch is important. And, that's something we're looking at because, we talk about tell a friend to tell a friend. We talk about some of the best minds in the country, but we have to talk about our powerhouse women on this platform. I'd like to think I'm a smart guy. And being a smart guy, you gotta align yourself with powerful women. Women are running the world right now, so I think I'm out front in that particular area. Wimbledon 2026 is happening right now, and of course, Serena is back. She played yesterday in a singles match, and she lost. But what we saw some of the rust coming off in the second set. We saw some dynamic flashes from Serena. I think that by the U.S. Open, we will see a good and possibly great Serena Williams coming back and taking claim to herself. I don't think this is about tennis. I think this is about Serena. So what happened at Wimbledon this year is that Wimbledon went back to their dress code, and the dress code is all white. Donatella, I don't know how much you pay attention to tennis, but just give us your take on Serena. We're gonna talk about Naomi soon, but give us your take on Serena, her performance, and what are your thoughts? Should she continue? Should she just walk away?
Well, first of all, let me start off by not being another person who tries to perpetuate a line in the sand for our women of color or any woman and what they want to do with their bodies and their self. So she definitely should continue. And I have to say, thank you for allowing me to share my point before our two experts, Dr. Giddings and Deidre Rashid, share theirs, because there would be nothing else for me to say. And my love for tennis has grown over the years through my blended family. My stepfather is Jamaican. He loves everything sports. And my Aunt Carol is Dr. Giddings' cousin when it comes for love for Serena Williams and love for the Wimbledon. So this year's Wimbledon has reminded us that tennis isn't just one of those world premiere sporting events. It's also, one of the most influential stages for fashion and personal expression. And like you said, the All England Club went back to all white. And what's interesting to me, Naomi Osaka continues to do the same thing she did before. She's already won eye-dropping, mic-dropping looks. And so this particular custom all-white design, I think it's beautiful.
But Donatella, we're gonna get to Naomi. We're talking about Serena.
Well, okay, so let me flip to Serena. Her too, right? Never mind the fact that she had trouble, like you said, in the first round where she lost. I think for me, Serena continues to step on the court as the global fashion icon because she was always making trends with what she's wearing. This year, her eyelid-inspired Nike ensemble paired with sophisticated accessories continue to show us she's the GOAT, right? So in short, no, she should not stop. She should go as long as she has the heart, desire, and the physical capability. And I will be watching with everyone else. And I think, the excellence of her career has shown over decades she deserves to be exactly where she is. She is who she believes she is. And that's one of the
Uh,
best.
thank you, Donatella. Dr. Giddings, we're talking Wimbledon 2026. We're talking the return of Serena Williams. She lost in a great effort yesterday. We saw flashes of brilliance from Serena. And if you understand any sport, okay, and I think this applies to everything. If you've been away from anything for a couple of years and you come back, you know, you could be good, but it takes time for you to just shrug off the rust and get back, you know, to your form. You know, that's what I saw. What can you tell us, Dr. Giddings?
Yes, I was so excited to watch that match yesterday. I watched the entire thing. She did great. I mean, her strength is there, her resolve is there. She was persevering. But the thing is, with tennis, I play pickleball, okay? It doesn't compare, but it's similar. Some days you're on and some days you're off. So I think she had somewhat of an off day. Some of her shots just didn't hit. And you know, she was even surprised they didn't. So you have to get that feel back. She's been off the field for 4 years. So you've got to understand that it's gonna take a little time. So I will be in New York for the US Open. So I hope to catch her match. I'm seeing one of the rounds. I'm not sure which one, if it's gonna be hers, but I'll be there. I love that perforated islandy type outfit she had on yesterday. It was great for the weather, you know, gave a lot of air, etc. But she was great. I loved her form. She did everything that she could possibly do. But there's some shots sometimes they hit and sometimes they don't. But she had some amazing shots. I enjoyed the entire match. But she's coming. I think she's going to do doubles with Serena soon. I'm not exactly sure when, but she's coming back, and I'm so happy about it. I think that she is just my icon. I love her, and I'm, you know, sending good vibes to her all the time. So good luck in the future. I hope to see you at US Open, and go Serena.
Thank you, Dr. Giddings. Serena has a fan base, we said. Now I'm coming over to you, Deidre. We're talking about Wimbledon 2026. Serena's return. Yesterday, she played at the singles match where she was up against an opponent that's 24 years her junior. Um, your thoughts on Serena? Should she continue? Did you see anything that you like? What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, as a powerful Black woman who has led us in so many ways in tennis and in the sport, do what she does. Go out there and live your best life. Don't have any regrets in life. When it ends, it's not the things that we do that we regret most, but that the things that we don't do. So I don't see anything wrong with her continuing in her sport. She's not stopping any new ones from coming. She's just saying that if you come, you need to be able to beat me. And so I think she makes the sport better. And I love her, and I love what she stands for, and I love her strength and her family story and the testimony that they bring to Black excellence. So I say, go, Queen, continue to fight.
Love it, love it. Dr. Giddings, you wanted to say something? No, you
No,
were just.
I was just saying, yay. I was agreeing. You know, I mean, and you know, she has like 7 Wimbledon titles, so you can't take anything away from that. Just keep on doing you. That's it.
Yeah, you know, so I'm going to stay with you, Deidre, then go over to Dr. Giddings, and then anchor with Donatella. Naomi Osaka. She made an iconic fashion statement. You give us your impressions about this multicultural young lady who was really, really, really doing some different things when it comes to fashion and tennis. Deidre?
Oh, oh, let me say this to you. I love the fact that not only is Serena there, but she has encouraged and motivated so many young people to step into this and to step into the game. Her presence has empowered them to know that it's possible, that we can, that we will. And I love it. I love her cultural expressions. I love the fact that she's not ashamed of the diversity that has been brought to the sport. And I love her boldness in her decisions. And so I'm encouraged. And overall, I feel like this next generation is what we were when we were 20. And we felt like we could conquer the world and do it all and go in and that we knew it. And so I love Naomi. I love the fact that she has the conversation about mental health. I love the fact that they're so free about talking about being healthy in every aspect of their lives. I love that. I think that there is a refreshing quality to youth. Right. He said that youth is wasted on the young. I think that some old person said that. Right. Because when you're young and you feel that even if you don't get everything you achieved, you make the older people better. You keep us on our toes. You keep us fighting. You keep us knowing that we have to do things and stretching us. And I love it. It's part of the evolutionary process.
Thank you, Deidre, Dr. Giddings. Naomi Osaka, she had an iconic fashion entrance at Wimbledon. Your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, Naomi, she has developed this whole fashion reveal and it's an event of their own, the fashion by itself. Okay, that's a whole conversation piece alone. I loved the kimono. I love what she's doing. You showed it on screen right now. She is just amazing. I think it helps. I think it actually helps her her focus on her tennis to be kind of like into another deal with the tennis. I think it really, really helps her, and it's a great conversation piece. I just love what she's doing. She's also done well in her first two rounds. I think she's on to her third round coming up sometime, either this week or next week. So she's really amazing. I watched her sometime last week, and her focus, her determination, it's really on point. And then, as Deidre said, the whole talk about mental health and her focus. And she's a single mom right now. She's focused on her daughter. She said she didn't want her daughter to spend her third birthday going home on the plane if she didn't continue on in Wimbledon. So she's doing an amazing job. She's setting a great example for her daughter, all these women, Serena as well, for her daughters, etc., showing that it's really important to do exactly what you feel, what you desire, and to just keep motivating yourself and others and going forward. So I'm all for it. I love her resolve and continue to keep pushing on. I can't wait to see how far she gets in Wimbledon. Maybe she'll be in the finals. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to her. I love her.
Thank you, Dr. Giddings. Donatella?
Well, we all know that I am in love with Naomi Osaka's persona. So much so I started in the wrong segment talking about it. But watching Naomi Osaka this year reminded me of Florence Flojo Griffith, right? Joyner. Flojo transformed the track and field by showing the world that an athlete could be both an elite performer and also a competitor and be a fashion statement. And to me, Naomi does the same thing. She brought creativity, confidence, and individuality to the sport. I see such a huge spirit in this young woman. And I think that in the future, I will probably be able to get to see her play at Wimbledon. She's so young, and I feel like she's going to have a long career. And to me, the fact that she was able to respect the traditions of the Wimbledon, look, I can't even talk, Wimbledon, right? And she continues to push the boundaries of fashion, celebrate her culture. And that to me Celebrating her culture and her heritage through her dress is huge because she's not only giving young boys, girls, or however a person identifies the confidence that they can see themselves in her, she's also reminding them that under this administration, it is okay to be comfortable in yourself and to share yourself with the world. And as a person who loves all white events, I am getting inspiration for her outfits. There are a few more left this summer, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Naomi Osaka's in the dance hall community coming up very soon at an event.
Thank you for that, Donatella. It was so important for us to include Wimbledon and Serena and Naomi, although they have some champion Black women participate in Wimbledon, but Naomi Osaka, her iconic fashion moment at Wimbledon brought sport, fashion, and culture together, right? Her custom white look represented her Japanese heritage. And this display was storytelling through fashion. You guys know how I feel about fashion. You spoke about the white parties in Brooklyn. Guess what? I could sit here safely and say that I was the originator of the white party in Brooklyn. Okay. And this goes way back. When I was doing white parties, people were saying, why you want everybody dressed up in white?
Yeah.
But it was something that I witnessed at P. Diddy's white party out in the Hamptons. And I came back and I said, this is something that we need to do in Brooklyn. So once again, Brooklyn comes into the conversation, and white, okay, white, custom white, anything white, as you see, is beautiful. That's how we bring that segment to a close. And now we're going to get ready for our closings. And we're going to start off with you, Donatella, okay, followed by Deidre and Dr. Giddings. Your closing remarks for today.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate with the panel and with you, J.R. Giddings. Is always excited to get expertise from the medical standpoint from Dr. Shelley Ann Giddings. And I beef up on my politics whenever I listen to Deidre Rashid. And this week, I want to wish our viewers, both internationally and here, a happy 250th America celebration. I want people to be safe, joyful fireworks. We always have some type of catastrophe with people who may be playing with illegal fireworks or standing too close to someone else. And I also want people to reach out to your neighbors, take an account, a look for those of our neighbors. We got like 350,000 of them who are going into this American celebration weekend not feeling appreciated by some of our neighbors, right? With the removal of TPS. So our Haitians and our Syrians may not be feeling the love, but I'm asking you on behalf of the Reset Talk Show and myself, show some love to your neighbor, enjoy this 250th year celebration, and also make sure you register to vote so we can make sure that the next 250 years will be better and Blacker than this one.
Thank you, Donatella. Our Democratic strategist, Deidre Rashid, your closing remarks today.
My closing remarks to all of those that are clenching their hands and clutching their pearls, get over it. History repeats itself. It is time for us to fight and fight collectively. Um, even in the Bible, they talk about if they're not against us, then, if they're not against us. So we need to make sure that we stay focused. The focus needs to be the midterm elections. The focus needs to be us protecting our Haitian immigrants and those that have had their rights stripped from them by administration that is dedicated to racism and white supremacy and pedophilia and all the things that we fight against. We are all in one big tent, and it's a family fight. And in this family fight, you're going to have to learn to get along with your siblings. So I say to moderates, as I say to myself as a moderate, put your big girl draws on and do the work of politics. Sit down and build coalitions across the board. Sit down and bring them back to the center. Make you sure if they vote some way or they go some way, you have the votes to bring it back. Welcome to politics. Those of you who were lazy and thought that your seat was just an entitlement seat, that it was just going to come back to you, this is a wake up call. So you're going to have to fight for what you have. And I say to all New Yorkers, we are so jealous of you. So regardless of the losses that you take, make sure you train these politicians. If any city can train a politician how to do right, it's New York City. And so don't get discouraged. Keep fighting. Keep doing what you're doing. Register to vote. Get out to vote. Bring your neighbors, your family members, everything, and stay informed and keep watching The Reset. It is what the Reset Show is, just filled with information from health to politics to just down to down, day to day. And I'm just so thankful for this platform and JR and Pastor Straker for allowing me to be a part of it.
You're now a big part of the Reset talk show, Deidre. We have our own democratic strategists here. I sit here and I truly pinch myself all the time. I will continue to say that I might be the glorified player here, but without you, Deidre, and Dr. Giddings, and Donatella, and Pastor Straker, and Dr. Madad, and the countless others, where would the Reset be without these amazing minds? All right, so Dr. Giddings, your closing remarks for today.
Yes, as we come to an end, we want to, wish everyone happy 250th and just remind everyone that this nation is built on immigrants. I'm an immigrant, quite a few of us are. And, the elimination of TPS was so horrible. They've got about 1.3 million people, which includes Haitians, Syrians, Afghans, and Venezuelans, to name a few. So make sure you guys go out there, make a plan, register, and vote. Because as Justice Jackson said in her statement, all human beings are created equal. She wanted to remind that the Supreme Court justices basically reminded us of that. We're all equal. We're not going back to making America great again, because what that means is making America white again. So everybody, make sure you make a plan and vote to maintain this American experiment. And then for coming this weekend, remember all the tips about the heat illness. Be careful, try to hydrate, make sure you're limiting outdoor activity, make sure you wear light clothing, drink fluids, especially Pedialyte and sports drinks with salt. Just make sure you find a cool place. Make sure you check on your neighbors, check on your family members, the elderly, even young babies are at risk. Okay, so take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll see you here next week, same time, same place.
Thank you so much, Dr. Giddings. Of course, you make us wiser. But before my closing remarks, our thoughts and prayers are with the people in Venezuela. Two back-to-back earthquakes hit that country and has devastated that country. There are up to 1,900 people who lost their lives, and thousands are injured and thousands of people are still missing. So it's important for us to recognize that we must talk about everything, but it's very, very, very sad to sit and witness and watch what's happening. It's really sad. So our thoughts and prayers. So at this time, I would like to thank all of you, okay, for allowing us to come into your homes every single Wednesday. Without you, where would the Reset Talk Show be? So we definitely want to thank you. We're asking you to follow us on all of our online platforms, including YouTube, which is the Reset Talk Show NY, and make a plan. Make a plan for this weekend as we celebrate July 4th, and make a plan of how we're going to deal with the heat. So we had Dr. Giddings break everything down for us. So let's execute. Let's take the information, share the information, and tell a friend to tell a friend. So we're going to end on that note. See you next Wednesday, same time, same station. It's all about the reset. We're resetting across the board. Have a great Wednesday and enjoy your July 4th.
Drinking alcohol increases the risk of several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and throat cancer. Drinking less can lower your risk. You deserve to know the truth about alcohol and cancer. Get the facts. Visit nyc.gov/alcohol.